I'm here with Tammie Sinclair of the El Progreso Memorial Library in Uvalde. And Tammie is working on a very special archive project. So tell me about it. She's an archivist who just moved here. You grew up here, right?
I did grow up here. This is my hometown. I'd love to say I was born here, but I run to the beat of my own drum, and my mom was passing through Kerrville, so I was actually born in Kerrville, but raised in Uvalde my whole life.
You have Kerrville and Uvalde all mixed up. That's
Yes,
great.
and went to school here, got my undergrad here. I did beauty school here, worked in local salons here, got my bachelor's degree from here, so we've got a junior college and a university as well. I taught in the school system here that I graduated from. So I primarily taught junior high, both 7th and 8th grade, English language arts and special education. That ultimately brought me to San Antonio, which is where I'm currently residing, but working on moving back to Uvalde. And I worked for Education Service Center Region 20 in their special education team there as well.
You have a great resume.
Thank you.
So now the tragedy of the shooting happened a year ago at Robb Elementary School, and that's, of course, why I first came to Uvalde a year ago. And we say Uvalde or Uvalde? Tell me the right way.
It depends on who you ask.
Okay.
We hear Uvalde, Uvalde, so
Okay. I'm just going to say Uvalde.
That's perfect, yes.
So I came here a year ago to this library after the tragedy 1 month, and so it was just so struck by everything that was going on here and how much grief there was. And so now you are here a year later starting up this project. So tell us about it. What's the name and what are you doing?
Sure. So we already had an established archives here, the Virginia Wood Davis Archives. And within the archives, we are starting or have started Los Angelitos de Robb collection. And that collection will live within our current archives. The big piece of this is that we received a grant from National Humanities or Endowment for Humanities and also through Humanities Texas. And within that, our big goal here is to really capture the national and community response to the tragedy. A big piece of that was acts of service. So thank you so much for being a part of our story.
Sure.
And, this archival process of the response. But also, in addition to acts of service, it's all of the cards that were sent, and not all, it's what we have received here, but cards, and I'm up to over 2,000 cards that we've counted and digitized. We've received Afghans, crochet blankets, quilts. We've also received artwork, various canvas sizes, various medias. Trying to think what else we have. T-shirts, wooden cutouts and structures, so all various types of responses, but that is really the goal, is to preserve the community and national response.
And were these items that were sent specifically to the library, or did you guys go out and find things, or how was that?
It's a mixture. So there are some where artists or loved ones have come in and wanted to donate items. A lot of it in the beginning was just we would receive a box, and it would be a box full of letters, or we didn't know where to send this, so we brought it to you guys. And then we kind of started having partnerships with the chamber and the city and the school, that if they had items that they would like to donate to the archives, and we were receiving those as well. Another big piece was coming up with policies and procedures. Through the grant with Humanities, we work with Harry Ransom Center in Austin, as well as Baylor University, and we're going to start working on an oral history project as well. So there's many different factors in this, but it's the easy answer is some was donated and some was they wound up here.
Well, and it's so important. I mean, when I came here a year ago, there were, impromptu memorials everywhere. And it was so touching. And, we drove by Robb Elementary today, and it looks so different than it did a year ago.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure, a lot of those objects, it's just important to capture. I mean, obviously you don't have all of those, every one of those objects, but it's important to capture what's been going on, and the outpouring of love is incredible.
Absolutely.
Like you said, the acts of service, that's, really important. You have a timeline of that, which is very cool.
We do, and I can actually send you an image of that so that you have it as well. But it's interesting because there's so many things that are born digital now, and that really means that it was typed up on the computer, and it was, native to the computer, and it's not a physical item. So that is something that we're looking at kind of collecting and adding to the archives in the future. Our main goal this year for this grant cycle is really to capture what we have physically received, but then also with that poster that you're talking about, we knew that the acts of service was such a huge piece of it that we wanted to collect that, and that's really where that timeline came from. So everything that you'll see on that, and again, like I said, I'll share that with you, it's items that happen or events that happen on top of our regularly scheduled events. So if you look at a day like today, we had so many different events happening all at one time, and these were regularly scheduled. When the tragedy struck, it was our regularly scheduled and then plus some.
Right. I know the Joffrey Ballet came and
oh, it's amazing.
Other organizations.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've had San Antonio Opera came. We've had Dance On from Chicago came. Joffrey Ballet came. We've had musicians come and various different artists that have come here. Not to the library, but we had the Duchess come in. I mean, just, Kelly Clarkson was here. So many different people that showed up in support of the community. So those are things as well that we might not physically have an item, but again, just kind of tracking what has happened and occurred and the response to it all.
Well, and art is so healing,
Absolutely.
and I know that's been helping people move through the feelings that they've been having.
100%.
And what do you think about, it must be healing for the people that are dropping off items too. You were saying that people were dropping things. It must be healing for them to know that, first of all, they're going to be seen.
Right.
And then stay somewhere safe, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that most of us, when something like this occurs or tragedy, we want to find a way to help, and we're going to help any way that we can. And I thought it was really incredible, all of these different communities that came together to show their love and support in various different means of expression. Art was a huge one. Mm-hmm. And I'll take you outside here in a little bit, and we'll look at the Friendship Rock Garden, and that was a rock group out of San Antonio. And it's things like, I didn't realize how big these rock communities were, and it's such a really neat thing to see. You flip a rock over and it's got a hashtag to follow them, and you'll find these rocks scattered all over, internationally even. So it's been really neat to see the different expression come in, and that was for me too. I've been living in San Antonio, and after the tragedy struck, I have to do something. Mm-hmm. And at that time, for me, I was still in my master's program, and I was needing to do my practicum hours. And I thought, this is perfect. Let me reach out and see if there's some way that I could give back to my community. And I figured acts of service again. This is something that I could do, and I could be helpful in the community. And then that ultimately is what led me to the position now as the archivist here for Los Angelitos de Robb. So that's, again, acts of service for me is huge.
It's in perfect timing too, because you're going to take over the library as well, which is so exciting.
Yes, yeah,
you're going to be the queen.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
And but you do such a wonderful job.
Thank you so much.
Do you guys still need funding, or what's the scoop there?
Yeah, absolutely, always. So we are a nonprofit, actually.
The Los Angelitos de Robb.
The library is
right. The library,
Memorial.
yes. Yeah.
Library is a nonprofit,
right?
And so we're actually getting ready to go through a huge construction phase. There's some structural damage to the building, and because of this tragedy and all of the items we've received, we also need to do some expanding to make room for more archives and storage so that we can properly store all of these items. And then there's things like improving our teen services and updating some of our building structures in here as well. So yes, we absolutely, on top of the normal need for money, are looking at doing this huge project. So
elprogreso.org, right?
Absolutely. elprogreso.org.
EL, will you spell it?
Sure. It's elprogreso.org.
Thank you so much. I loved hearing about that.
Absolutely.
All right, we are at the Uvalde Memorial Kindness Rock Garden, and Tammie is going to tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so our Uvalde Memorial Kindness Rock Garden was really started as part of the larger project, but we have SC Kindness Rocks out of San Antonio that has been instrumental in keeping this garden alive. They've come and they've done several classes where the community members are invited to come paint their own rocks. The idea is that the inner circle that you see stays here as part of the memorial, but this larger outer circle.
Wait, hang on. Okay, inner circle stays as part of the memorial. Okay.
And the larger outer circle around here, the idea is you give one and you get one, and if you don't have one to give, that's okay. You can take one, and some of them, not all of them, do have little messages on the back, like "you found me," you can keep it or you can rehide it. And then we have others, because this is a large community project, not just in Uvalde, but nationally and probably internationally as well. But they'll put their handles on the back. So this is Rocks by Moni. You've got Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And so when you find their rocks, you tag them in it so that they can see where their rocks have traveled. So that's the idea. If you have a rock that you'd love to bring, please bring it by. Or if you'd love to just come to look at what we've got and tag the creator, you can do that as well.
Thank you. So I'm going to just pan around the rock garden. So I'm going to go just as close as I can, but to get the idea of it being a double circle. Inner circle is the permanent memorial. The outer circle are the rocks to take and leave. I'm just going to go over here because it's got the names of the 21 angels who passed away. Very moving. As I said, it's changed a lot since I came here a year ago. A lot less memorials and things like that, but there's still a lot of grieving and a lot of healing that is happening. So I'm just going to walk around and take it in. Art is healing, and this sure is a nice and special way to heal. And as Tammie said, it's a community project, so that's really nice. And Uvalde is known as Tree City, so it's a perfect thing to do as part of their healing from the tragedy.